to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So we've been trading some emails. I think we'll establish a kind of a common agenda, and then we can attach on if we need to add to. But we'll do that for now. I think tonight's meeting's probably going to be pretty standard. So we'll start with reading the last month's minutes.
I sent those late. I didn't know if you
Yeah, I only saw them on my phone, so the formatting was all messed up. But anyway, so we've got some reporting requirements now that we need to adhere to from, I think, some feedback from the SBOA and so forth, that we need to have our officials listed with their terms listed on. So we thought, why don't we just incorporate it into our documentation? That way it's there. So, Diana, you want to go forward with the meeting minutes?
Monday, July 21st, 2025, 7 o'clock p.m. Town Council meeting minutes from Monday, June 23rd, 2025, 7 o'clock p.m. Town Council President Andy Swain opened the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Fourth Council in attendance, President Andy Swain, Council Member David Johnson, Clerk Treasurer Diana Johnson, Street Commissioner Wally Althouse, Council Member Bill Barber is not in attendance. Town residents in attendance, Marion Quinlan, Tony Hutton, Byron, Joe Turner, and Sandy Casey. Hello, Marion.
Am I late?
You're right on time.
May
Is that
2025 minutes. Yes. President Andy Swain made a motion
7:02.
to approve May minutes. David Johnson second motion. Motion carried in favor of approving May 2025 minutes. May 2025 claim vouchers presented for review of payment. President Andy Swain made a motion to approve May 2025 claim vouchers for payment. David Johnson seconded the motion. Motion carried in favor of paying May 2025 claim vouchers. June 16, 2025 meeting rescheduled to June 25th, 2025 with Diana Johnson meeting. Committee report. Street Commissioner Mike Althouse spoke to Home Street Care for quote cleaning up storm damaged tree. Crimin signs to begin road work July 15, 2025. Begin with roads on the south side of the lake, milling first. Millings will be available. Will take 3 to 4 days to complete. Noted basic trees in park in need of attention. Fallen trees in rough path going to dam. Tennis courts steam cleaned. Tracks sealed. Debris. Capilla trees in cleanup. While we received a quote from DPE, shared the email communications with the board. Bill Barber made a motion to approve DPE quote for tree debris cleaning up within park for $2,550. And table the maintenance on the tennis court for now. David Johnson second motion via email communication. Motion carried. Planning Commission, Byron Holden, concrete gravel pile on 200, going to take 3 more years to remove, should be by end of 2028. Planning Commission tweaking ordinances and rules, gaining ideas from other counties on other changes coming. BZA, Sandy Casey. Shared BZA has a full agenda for upcoming Thursday meeting. Spring Lake Men's Club Marion Quinlan, spring cleaning on windows, tires swinging in bad shape and would like to get it retired. Weeds around community building need maintained. Hope business up. Kitchen remodel. Quotes in from Eric Brown Construction and Wildman's Flooring. Diana present quotes tabled at this time. Looking for contractors to obtain quotes to finish the men's room and basement. Diana presented quote for basement flooring tabled at this time. Signage interest to Spring Lake. David Johnson continues working on signage. 4 community crossing grant approval 100%, $249,857.25 for town roads. Bids reviewed during special meeting by board. Work begins 7/15/2025. Number 5, new benches and playground equipment table. Number 6, dam updates. Andy Swain Geotech survey estimated to cost between $31,000 and $35,000. 7, tires swing down, men's club and Wally working on swing. New business. Dave Johnson presented an update on current fishing ordinance. Number 2, Sandy Casey mentioned that the north side of Garden Drive has a soft spot. And number 3, a 46, budget planning reminder due July 2025. No other business presented to town council. Next town council meeting scheduled for Monday, July 21st, 2025, 10 o'clock p.m. With no more new business, President Haynes Wayne motion to adjourn the meeting. David Johnson second motion to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried. The meeting adjourned.
Any additions or corrections?
If you can sign a back of that, because I wrote this all on the front instead of 2 pages, please. Thank you, sir.
Ready for the treasurer's report whenever you are.
Okay. Treasurer's report for June of 2025. Beginning balance for general fund is $285,248.83. We received $27,412.59. We dispersed $7,169.57, leaving an ending balance of $305,491.85. MBH fund for June, beginning balance was $81,079.66. We received $983.01, leaving an ending balance of $82,062.67 with no disbursements. MBH restricted fund, beginning balance was $28,749.01. We received $382.63 with no disbursements, leaving an ending balance of $29,131.64. June LIT fund, beginning balance was $48,685.27. We dispersed $529.17 with no disbursements, leaving an ending balance of $49,214.44. LRS fund, local road and street, beginning balance was $20,526.39. We received $510.74 with no disbursements, leaving an ending balance of $21,037.13. CCI fund, beginning balance was $5,240.47. We received $150.47 with no disbursements, leaving an ending balance of $5,390.94. CCD fund, beginning and ending balance the same with no receivables or disbursements of $10,106.67. Business development fund, beginning and ending balance the same with no receivables or disbursements of $195.86. Rainy day fund, beginning and ending balance the same with $71,439.92 with no receivables or disbursements. CDET fund, beginning balance is $19,812.63. We received $232.50 with no disbursements, leaving an ending balance of $20,045.13. American CARES Act, beginning and ending balance for June with no receivables or disbursements at $7,380.42. We had 2 outstanding checks. All the checks cleared otherwise, leaving a total ending balance of $603,503.78.
Any additions or corrections to treasurer's report? Bills, communications,
No communications. I do not have any communications.
we'll catch up on the bills another time. It's probably like, not very many, was it?
In June, yes, because it's payroll.
Oh.
There were several, but I thought I had it with my budget on both. I did. I just.
Pretty good. There's not a whole lot going on with things. I did bring the new ordinance they're going to do on per new houses where they're going to charge an impact fee.
$450 or
412.
412.
Yeah. Talks about, I don't understand why it talks about $1,500. Like that too. If it's $412, I don't know why. Anyway,
Does it have to do with the size of it or anything?
So that would be only levied on new builds?
New builds.
New builds, yes. And the other thing was, originally it said they would only apply to stuff that was new, like as far as like being put in. But when I read that, it almost sounds like you could use the money for something that exists, but you want to improve. I don't know.
I guess I'll run a scan of it, send it out to you guys so you can read it if you want.
It's in if you send the minutes, it has like all 5 things.
Yep.
You just click on the one thing and it prints out. You get a report. Somebody new is doing we got a new assistant planner, and she's like doing the minutes or doing the agenda. She's adding little things you can click on and it expands to something you might want to look at.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. Let's see Sandy here. So I know that there was a newspaper article that was written about I think it was
Empty building.
well, no, it was written about the BCA and how there's 5 people on the BCA, 3 are from the count, like 3 are elected, or I think there's 3
They're
elected.
appointed by the commission.
They're appointed by the commissioner, okay. And one's appointed by Shirley and one's appointed by Spring Lake. And they were talking about how they've had several meetings that they haven't had enough people there to have the meeting, and it was interesting who, and I think that's a bad setup, first of all, because, Spring Lake is such a small community, but yet we have 20% of the decision making, and if 2 people aren't there, then you have 33% of the decision making.
I was always there, but you have to have a big group.
Right.
But if somebody doesn't want to be heard by them, they can be
Yeah.
continued.
Well, I think there was some communication. There were some people that were talking
Yeah,
about
they
how-
brought it up. They brought it up at our meeting too.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was kind of funny, but they brought it up at our meeting, and then
Mhm. But
the
anyway,
commissioner, somebody else.
so I don't have anything from.
Yeah.
And Wally wanted to give an update on the streets, that the paving project is done for this year. I thought the streets looked very good on the south side. The only comments were they had a couple of issues with some residents driving through it before they had it compacted, and they had to address that. But that's kind of to be expected. It's difficult to tell everybody you can't go anywhere for a few hours, and there's going to be invariably somebody that has to. So, but anyway, we've got an invoice from the vendor that we'll act on tonight. But I thought the roads looked very good. Anything from Men's Club, Marion?
Well, we got several things in process. Our windows are about half done. These on here on the south side, right there, but the rest of them are. And they're on the building. What I'm going to do tomorrow, I intend to, is cut this bush down right here by the building. I use all this. Well, this haven't done it yet. And then there are a bunch of lines going up on the wall, I'll get them. So, as far as electrical outlets and switches, we've got them, we got some of them. But, we haven't, switched in or on yet. And our, the office downstairs, what's going to happen to it?
I don't know.
The paint,
We have bids, there hasn't been a decision yet made.
that'd be what?
There's no decision yet that's been made on that.
I'm sorry, I don't,
It's.
they won't hear anyone bad on me to do. Not to
We have some bids, but we haven't made a decision on who we're gonna go with or what we're gonna do
Oh,
yet.
okay,
But we're getting bids.
but it is pretty bad shape.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, like I say, we're plugging along. That's
Okay,
all, that's all. I got.
okay, thank you. Okay, any items to cover for old business? Any updates for old business? Bill or David? Diane, anything from you?
Just the quote
For the downstairs?
for the downstairs.
Okay. All right. How about, new business?
The thing I have for new business is that we need to discuss the 2026 budget and make sure that if there's something that we need to add. My meeting is Thursday with the DLGF, so I'd like to get it.
Okay. We need to make sure that we have enough to cover the second phase of the paving.
Correct.
For what that will be. So, we probably need to protect for more tree work than we've protected for in the past. That's my input there. Because I think there's gonna be some more work that needs to be done with the aging trees that we have around.
What about the lake and the Butler area acres
I think we had something in there.
for 2025? I'll talk about, are they gonna need maintenance, need any, should we
Yeah.
set aside extra money outside?
I would assume so. We could probably say, I don't know that that would be a big expenditure, but maybe, $5,000 or $6,000, something like that.
Anything for playground?
Yeah, we need to replace some of that old equipment. And if we don't do signs this year, then we need to do that next year.
Lake treatment.
I think that's an ongoing thing that we have in there. We're doing a pretty good job, I think.
2 year? Is it every year?
I think it's every year.
Do we get any fish this year? We're at
Is this the year?
2 years ago, we added, we did every 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
When's the right time to add fish if we want to add fish, Marion?
in the fall, I think.
Or, here,
Yeah.
long time ago.
There?
Was it October?
What's the right time of year to do it?
You mean, eat,
If we want to add fish to the
Oh.
lake, if we want to stop
every year,
every other year, what time of year?
in the fall,
In the fall? Okay.
September,
Yeah.
October.
All right. We should have that in for this year. I think we do.
I think we do.
So. Okay. Anything else for you, Diana?
No.
Okay, so, you have the CRIM quote there, or the CRIM invoice. I slid it down the table there, so.
Those guys are doing a good job on the road.
plug it. So he sent an invoice for, so we did, in our request for quote, we broke it into 9 different sections, and he did sections 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the other 3 sections are Lake Drive, Park Drive, and Garden Drive. So those are the 3 sections that we're gonna do next year. So these sections totaled up to $140,608.50. So I was just doing some cross-checking today, and I think he's shorting himself $2.
Okay.
So if you just add up the individual elements, there was one of the sections, I think it's this one here. He's got an even $10 there, but you can see there's a $5, there's a $7. So he's missing this 2 right there. So this section here, but so I think what I'll do is I'll talk to him and I'll get him to issue a corrected invoice that matches up math-wise. And so I'd like to make a motion that we pay Crim the invoice for $140,610.50.
$140,600.
Yep. 14610.50. Yep.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. I'll get a fresher copy of the invoice. He doesn't need to send it certified unless he wants to, but,
That include the milling?
yeah. There was, so on Hillside, they did an extra deep milling on Hillside. They did extra deep milling on East Drive, which is the road right here between the lakes. They did extra deep milling on 250 or on Sugar Creek, on Maple, Beach, and Sycamore. So they went. The normal milling is 2 inches, and I think they went down another 1.5 inches or 2 inches. So
Yeah, I can tell by my street.
yeah, Sugar Creek probably could have stayed to go down a foot. I mean, it's got some areas that are pretty tall, but
There were some places that in front of David's that they milled, they did get down to gravel.
yeah. So that's the feedback I got after the first day of milling was that they would like to have gone deeper in some places, but they were going to go through the hard pan and get down to something that's too soft, and then we'd have.
Did you guys hear about Kevin?
Pardon?
Kevin Clem, did you hear about him? He was electrocuted,
Yeah.
and then he was completely dead.
Yeah.
He came out of
Yep. Yep.
So he was shot. Technically, electrocution is.
Yep. Yep. Okay, thanks for that. And we've got the, so where was the money deposited from the state? We got the grant money from the state. We got $210,660 from the state in the checking account. Okay, so when you pay this, what are you gonna pay this out of?
It's in general fund right now, to come out of general.
So should we put it into MVH and then pay out of MVH? I think,
We should probably ask.
why don't you ask? And then we might want to, I don't know if MVH restricted, I don't know if it fits the requirements for that or not, but at least ask how it should be divvied up, and let's put it in the right place.
I'm sure we have to prove that we spent 25%.
Well, I do, there's a reporting requirements that I've got from the state for that, so, part of it is the invoice and then the payment, the meeting transactions as far as it. So, but there's the backside of this. I've got the requirements from the state there. So, okay,
It may say LRS too.
they might split it up. Might be 50-50. So, and then, what we may want to do is we can ask you know, since we're doing this in 2 phases, ask them that, what we do with it. Do we transfer just enough for this first phase? Because out of that 140,000, you know, 75% of that's going to be paid from the grant. 25% is paid from us.
And the next question would be, do we pay our 25% upfront? Or is it phased out, phased into?
It'll be phased into as well. There'll be a phase 1, phase 2. We have to exhaust we either spend all the money that the grant gave us by the end of next year, or we pay it back the differential what we didn't use. So that's why, you know, we were awarded 249 and we only asked for 210. And that's for everything, that's for next year too. So there's some money in here for Orchard that we can go back and add on to, because we're gonna add an Orchard to it, I think, for next year. Yep.
So, quick question about the roads, were they supposed to, I'm confused, were they supposed to do like a little bit of feathery flare into driveways? How does that work?
Not into driveways,
Okay,
from driveways out to the road, maybe. So usually they go from the driveway and they go like this out to the road.
okay.
They ain't playing right now, so they-
Well, there was just inconsistency, I was just asking, I didn't know because Kim had that question before about her driveway when they did go up last year, and I was just making sure because not everyone did that.
I know the last time.
You know,
It's only-
They flared down into my driveway. This time around, they just kind of cut it off.
They only go a few inches, they don't go, you know, feet.
They went,
Yeah, yeah.
they went.
Last time they did it, they come about 2 foot to 3 foot into my driveway.
So it looked like different ones did different things, so our driveway, which was probably something, and I even asked Kevin, I said, please try to do something here because we've got that big hump. And, he said he would, but he missed both of our driveways, and then he missed Phelps's, missed David's.
Mine's pretty flat.
I know that, but everybody else got a nice
Flare.
flare, yeah, it's
Well,
like,
if we're not happy, let's get him back out.
no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm just asking, because Kim, that might be a question.
Her question wasn't that. Her question was the fact that she had the gap between the road and her concrete.
Oh, okay.
That it was, she had 3 feet of distance that was not concreted on her driveway. And she was expecting all that to be asphalted to bridge that gap. It wasn't anything with transitioning out to the street. They ended up having that concreted.
Yeah, they put that in.
Yeah.
I remember when they brought out those trucks.
It looks nice, it's not worth ever me saying nothing about it, I can fix it, but I was just curious, going into next year.
Yeah, well, and it could be something that we could have them take care of next year if it's not something that you know, that you want to
You
do
don't have
long
to,
term.
you don't have to have it on that one driveway, have something about like this.
Hmm.
If I was married.
That's nice.
I know it is nice.
That's nice.
It's just a little.
Yeah.
That much.
Well, that's good.
Mine went the other way last year.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did they fix that this year?
They're not
No,
doing
you
this
didn't get yours, that's right.
He was on the road that we did last year.
Like you just gotta walk up before, now I gotta climb.
It's part of the health and fitness plan for the lake.
I guess, as long as I don't get stuck, Jack.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Well, if there's no more new business, I'd like to open it up. Bill Spalding's here, the county commissioner, and I thank him for coming to the meeting. He and I have had some discussions. There's been a lot of talk about the Pennsy Trail, what's gonna happen with the Pennsy Trail, what's the status. I don't know if you guys have read the news, but the Pennsy Trail is now completed to 300 West. It just opened up a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's paved to 300 West. You know, there's been survey trucks driving through the town for different companies that you know, you don't see those in Spring Lake. And so, you know, I talked with Bill about it. He said he'd be happy come to the meeting and talk about, you know, what he knows. I'll preface it by, I went to visit Jerry Skillman, who lives across the creek from my property. He actually owns the property of the trestle, the railroad trestle. He owns the railroad trestle, the bridge over Sugar Creek. I think he had sold some of his property to Nine Star, and that's where they drilled those wells, the high volume wells on the south side of his property. And then there was an area north of his house that he sold to Nine Star as well. And I believe Nine Star donated that, or maybe they sold it for a very small price to the Parks or Trails Committee or whatever. And that's what they put the trail in on there. So it's paved up to 300 West. If you go down
Just on the
300
other side
West,
of the
it's,
trestle? Just on the other side of the trestle?
yeah, on the other side of
It's
Mr. Skillman's
300.
driveway.
Literally 300.
It's 300, I guess, yeah.
And if you drive down there, it's so narrow, you gotta come back all the way out, so.
Yeah, or turn around at Mr. Skillman's driveway.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, his property it doesn't go very far south of his, he's got an LP tank on the south side of his house there, that's his property line. Nine Star owns from there on to 100 South. But anyway, someone I know that the trails have approached different homeowners talking about, you know, would you donate your land, or would you be interested in selling the land for the trail? And so I know that there's some back and forth that's going on there. Probably, I think they're going to try and acquire the land to complete the trail and hook it back up to 150. I think is where its trailhead is now. Over here, I think 150.
I think if it goes to 200 West, that's all I would desire to see it for now.
Yeah. Because there's that historical home there, the Virginia Black house there that's just south of 84 Lumber Company, I think. But anyway, so I know that, you know, it's the desire that there's a big banner at the end of the trail there, 300 West. It says the trail stops here, but it doesn't have to, and donate, you know, do all this stuff. But you know, and I think the big question that I have is, you know, I've heard that, you know, we were told in a community meeting in Greenfield that they wouldn't use eminent domain to acquire the land for the trail. And you know, there's a lot of people that have very little backyard that backs up to the trail here on Garden Drive. And the railroad bed's there. Some people own part of the railroad bed. There's several property owners that bought that back when it was for sale. And I just don't know what's the current, at least what's the Trails Committee presented to the Commissioner's office that's the plan that they have for the foreseeable future.
Right now, you're exactly right. Trail stops at 300 West. Mary Ann Wheatbrock and the Pennsy Trails Group are actively engaged with the Skillman family to see if there's any interest in them, not so much donating, but hey, what's this property worth? There's a big bridge on it, too. The county doesn't necessarily want the bridge, because with the bridge comes upkeep. We don't even know, a civil engineer would have to get out there and tell you if it was structurally sound or not. So that's ongoing, and that's out of what the county is doing. She is doing that on her end, because that group has procured grants in the past with what they're doing, so she is doing that. So that may be a piece of property that happens, it may not. I'm not sure. I think the goal was, from what we heard from the people at Spring Lake, was we didn't want it in town, so it's potentially going to follow the path that's just north of, to keep it out of town. The discussion back a couple years ago when it was potentially